Welcome back, guys. Will Robinson here from Robinson's Auto, toolsandtime.com. Back here with this 2015 GMC Canyon that we just did the transfer case front output shaft seal on. That's taken care of. I think we're good. Next on the list was a customer's complaint that he feels a misfire. He hasn't felt this or experienced it prior to taking to the dealership and they did a tune-up on it. He's brought it back numerous amount of times with a complaint that he feels it at idle. It doesn't feel smooth anymore. While he's driving, sometimes he feels it bucking and it missing. And I told him, well, that surely doesn't sound right. But they told him, hey, the check engine light's not coming on. These vehicles pick up everything whenever there's a problem. We know that's not always the case. However, we're gonna see if we could confirm his complaint. While it's sitting here, I do feel what he's talking about. Grueling feeling, like you could tell it's like a slight misfire at idle. I took it for a ride. It isn't severe, actually. I pulled out the scanner. We're gonna see if we can monitor some misfire data or something to see if it points us in the right direction. All right, guys, hopefully there's not too much of a glare here. All right. We're just gonna go in and monitor some misfire data. Yeah, I can see number 6 right there. I could feel it misfire. I knew it was. Right there, I felt it. Right there, I felt it. Felt it again. Felt it again. Felt it again 2 times. Felt it again. So the customer is definitely feeling something. I'm feeling it. No, it's not going to do it again. Right there. Yeah. So let me take you back by the tailpipe. Maybe you'll be able to hear it. Maybe you guys are able to hear it right now. But I can definitely feel it. Get it back to the shop and see what we can find. All right, guys, well, I popped the cover off. Pretty straightforward. They had 2 of the clips broke on that already. I'll show you when I go to put it back together. But yeah, I'll go over the cover once we put it back together. However, once the cover was off, you got your coils. They're essentially pretty straightforward. You got a 10mm retainer. Once you unplug them, you can pop them up out. And a 5/8 spark plug socket. I use a magnetic one, long extension. So here's what I found so far. Someone was definitely in here. Plugs have definitely been out of it. Cylinder number 6 that we were seeing that misfire on was the first plug I pulled out. I have since pulled the other 2 plugs out of this bank because I wanted to see something, and I'll show you why. Because cylinder number 6, when I pulled it out, this is what I found. As you can see, the gap is almost essentially closed. It's like, well, that's not good. And I looked at the number, I'm like, okay, and then I cross-referenced it, and it is the right plug. It's a double platinum AC Delco. This is the order I pulled them out. So what is it, cylinder number 4, I believe? I went to next, the center one on this bank, and I pulled it out. I'm like, that one's different. That might even be a iridium plug. I didn't look this one up, but it's clearly a different part number. Same length, different part number. So now I was like, okay, let me pull out cylinder number 2. And this one looks okay. Same plug as the first one we pulled out. However, with the correct gap. So at this point, I contacted the customer and trying to look for our next step. All right, so it's one of those situations like, what's our best path to getting this guy back on the road in the quickest amount of time, since it is, you know, the day before Christmas Eve and whatnot. So what I did is I pulled out all the plugs that I could get to without removing the plenum. It's all three on that bank and one plug on this bank. What I found was the number 6 plug. You see when we pulled it out, the gap was almost closed. That was correlating with the misfire counter we were seeing. It wasn't misfiring enough to throw a code. However, every time I felt that little chutter, it showed number 6. That's why I went for number 6 right away. Pulled out number 6, plug is showing almost closed with the gap. Good indication that that is our misfire that we're feeling. I wasn't seeing a counter on any other plugs. But then I wanted to, since the vehicle was tuned up recently, I was like, you know what? Let me check the other 2 plugs that are easy to get to and see where we stand. So I pulled the plug out right in front of it, which is cylinder number 4, and it had a different style plug in it. Same brand, but it had an iridium plug in it, and the other one was a double platinum. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. So let's pull out number 2. So I pulled out number 2 plug, and I had a double platinum in it, the same as number 6. So I'm like, okay, that one was good. The gap was good on that one. So then I jumped over to number 5 that I could get to, pulled that one out, and that one had the double platinum plug as well. So 5, 6, and 2 had all the same plugs in them. However, number 6 was, you know, evidently, maybe when it was put down in there, dropped or something. What was going on with number 4, I really don't know. I don't know the backstory on that. So what I did, I gave the customer an option. Seeing what we had, I was hoping to have a little better odds on our side. What threw me off with my odds was the one oddball spark plug that was in number 4. Otherwise, I was saying, hey, if we find 3 out of 4, good. We'll take a chance. Since it was just tuned up, this is probably the most expensive part of the job, is doing these front 2 cylinders here. Cylinder 1 and 3 is because you have to remove this plenum. So I would feel good by saying, okay, well, hopefully they did quality work on those 2 plugs. They should be new, relatively new. Leave them in there. Replace all the ones that I have out. That way we get a fresh start. Leaving these 2 the way they are, since they were supposedly just replaced. And see how we do, and see how it runs. We're still going to do that. We're still going to go that route. The odds aren't as great, since like I said, because I found that one oddball spark plug. However, that is the game plan for right now, because I don't have enough hours left in today to finish up what I need to do at home before Christmas tomorrow and whatnot. We're going to take and put new plugs, make sure the gaps are good on them before we put them in, see how she runs. Later, if he wants to, if he feels better with me doing the entire job, if it runs good, he probably doesn't have to. I hate to see him waste his money, but I will most definitely go in there and replace those plugs for him if he wants. Sorry guys, I'm just not used to recording anymore, and I keep on jumping ahead of myself, trying to get done. And my apologies. Click, click. I like the spark plug sockets that have the magnets in them. However, they can be a little tough to get used to because they're not as user-friendly as say you gotta hold them, you gotta make sure you hold them square. It's most important. You take a chance of cracking the porcelain. They're not as forgiving, in my experience. As the traditional rubber ones. Feel bad for this guy because he's pretty much burned out with it. He was on his last straw. He called me about the output shaft seal. He filled me in a little bit ago about the Misfire, because he was a customer of mine, but he bought this truck and it's under warranty for the most part. It's under warranty. So he wanted to keep the services up through the dealership, thinking he's doing the right thing. And I don't hold that against anybody. You know, they can take their vehicles wherever they like. But unfortunately, he said the thing was running great. They recommended a tune-up. He said he did a tune-up and he's just been having nothing but problems with the truck ever since. Oh. I wish I had enough time to do these two front ones because I don't like doing it like this, especially after seeing what I've seen. If the misfire doesn't clear up, or if there's more, I'm sure at that point we'll reevaluate our position. I think the one I just put in, cylinder number 2, came out of 6, so that's a good practice too. Mix it up a little bit in case there's a coil problem from running with that plug. If the misfire moves to cylinder 2, I will know. I've seen on these sometimes I'll redo a tune-up or something, or I'll come in and find that those 2 cylinders were never done to begin with. So that can also be the case. It wouldn't be the first time. One thing I did look at, it looks like there was a socket on that plenum bolt, so that's a sign that somebody was there. So give them credit. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Those 2 were changed. Plug it in and lock your clip in place. I know I'm not covering a lot on this. It's mainly just to cover my findings, to be honest with you. So I hope you guys are enjoying catching up with me for the most part. I know this didn't cover a lot of detail, but take care of people when we can, the best we can. Like I said, I'm not even going to go into it, but the clips are broken on that side, clips broken on this side. The only one that was good was this one here. I'm gonna move you guys over here for a minute. It's just disheartening when you work on these trucks and you come across stuff like this that somebody else evidently did. I think we got it. Look underneath. Hardest part of this whole task, getting the intake hose on. That's essentially what you missed in the beginning. So you see me take it off once, and put it on once, so you didn't really miss much. To take it off, there's usually a screw here, screw on the other side. This one's still here. The clamp on the throttle body, that's important. It's best to look through the back side here. 8mm swivel long extension. That's what I find best. And once you get it on there, just okay, that should be tight enough. The screw here. On this one, I'm using a T30 torque. That's on there. That's tight. That's tight. That's on. Coils are back on. I didn't knock anything off back there. Set this off to the side. Our oil cap. Coils are all back in. All right, let's start this bad boy up. So far, she sounds really good. You heard the plugs were dry at first, and then as they got saturated, per se. Now it's running nice and smooth. I'm gonna take you back to the tailpipe. You'll remember before, while it was idling, there was a clear misfire. All right, we just got back from a nice long ride. Everything is still doing good. It's nice and warm. No misfire at idle any longer. I'll let the customer drive it. Wait to hear some feedback. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I know this wasn't a total in-depth repair video. However, I just wanted to take you along and show you how sometimes you could have slight misfires and not have the check engine light or whatnot, but how you could go in there, look at some live data, and it could point you in the right direction. In this case, it pointed me to number 6, cylinder number 6. We went in there and we found a plug that was evidently either installed, maybe it was damaged in the box and they just never checked it, or when they put it in there they dropped it and it closed the gap. One way or another, it wasn't good. So hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Till next time.